Google is taking aim at Apple with the new Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL with the new PixelSnap feature that mimics MagSafe perfectly and the promise of AI features that Apple has so far failed to deliver. It's a big bet on software, but Google's Pixel design was already a step ahead, and Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL improve on last year's great look. Our full review is coming, but my hands-on first impression will give you a good idea of how the Pixel has evolved. The Google Pixel 10 Pro and its larger sibling, the Pixel 10 Pro XL, look like fantastic smartphones. Google hasn't messed with the winning formula that made the Pixel 9 Pro my phone of the year choice for 2024. The refinements seem minor but could signal a sea changes in Google's fight against Apple and its friendly competition with Android rival Samsung. I only had a few hours with these phones, but they look like the best Pixel phones yet, and some of the coolest features have yet to reveal themselves. Google doesn't compete with Samsung on specs or with Apple on features, so it's been easy to dismiss past Pixel phones as also run devices that offer a nice alternative to the iPhone and Galaxy lines but are rarely the first choice. That changes with the Pixel 10 Pro. The new PixelSnap Magnet features may seem like old news to iPhone users, but they open up a world of new accessories and convenience for Android fans. I'm pretty sure that Samsung and OnePlus will follow suit in due course, but for now the Pixel 10 Pro and its three stablemates are the only Android phones that I can snap onto my bedside charging stand and use with my UAG magnetic wallet. I only had a couple of hours with the Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL, so the most important features remain a mystery right now. Google says it has upgraded the image signal processor in the Tensor G5 chipset, which should result in better photos and possibly a better camera experience. The new camera coach feature is totally fascinating, but it wasn't working on the demo units I tried. Some Google reps had it working on their own phones, so the feature seems baked and ready to serve, but I'll need to spend a lot of time using the cameras in a variety of situations to see if it really makes a difference. If it does, it could be a turning point for smartphone AI features. So far, AI on smartphones has been a mix of useful tools and frightening oversteps. The Pixel 9 Pro is my favorite AI phone because it does a great job of screening calls, recording meetings, and managing notifications. Those are genuinely useful AI tools, not image generators that make lousy images or writing tools that take over the job of sending love notes to my sweetie. The Pixel 10 Pro promises a host of new and similarly useful AI features, but none of them were apparent in my hands-on time. The new Magic Cube feature will need to get to know me better before it starts bubbling up relevant information during my phone calls. When it does know me, it should do things like showing me my flight information if it hears me talking about my upcoming travel plans. I hope it works well, but so far AI features like this from other phone makers have failed to materialize after launch or have failed to demonstrate the utility that phone makers claim. I am not too concerned. The Pixel 9 Pro was already ahead of the competition on useful AI features, and Google is doing an admirable job of keeping the AI processing and therefore your private data on the device instead of relying too much on cloud computing. I saw a Pixel 10 Pro translate the voice of my colleague on a phone call from his English into a natural sounding Spanish. Other phones can do the translation bit, but the most Spanish voice actually sounded like my colleague would he spoke Spanish. Most astonishingly, all of the processing happened on the Pixel 10 Pro, not in the cloud. The conversation and the sound of your voice are kept private. In other words, after spending a couple of hours with the Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL, they seem to me like refined devices that marginally improved on the success of last year's redesign, and that's enough for me. If the Pixel 10 Pro simply offers camera improvements and better zoom along with all the latest Pixel features I already enjoy, I'll be able to recommend it easily. If the new AI features really help me take even better photos and do a better job of helping me organize my digital life, I'll consider that an even bigger win. But I think we are only seeing the tip of the AI iceberg on these phones. With 7 years of Android update ahead, who knows what the Pixel 10 Pro will be capable of doing in the future. The Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL both come with 16GB of RAM inside and 256GB of storage to start. Those are very respectable specs and most people won't need to spend more for more storage unless there's a great discount if you buy more space. The phone comes in 4 colors: blue gray moonstone, light green jade, white porcelain and dark gray obsidian. The moonstone is very appealing, but I like all of these year's colors equally, even the blackish obsidian. I do wish there were more vibrant color options, but subtle seems to be the new norm for pro-level phones. The Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL are priced high, but the price is competitive with the top-end iPhone 16 Pro and S25 Ultra phones. The new Pixels don't measure up evenly spec for spec, but the overall experience is just as good, and the Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL are the newest looking phones of the bunch with the most recent redesign. While I expect the base model Pixel 10 will drop in price throughout the next year, Google has been more stingy with its Pro models recently. Last year's Pixel 9 Pro saw regular discounts at $150 in the US, but rarely dropped further than that, and discounts were less common on this phone than on the base model. The price is pretty good though, so if you want a Pixel 10 Pro, buy it now. There probably won't be a huge deal coming that makes you regret buying early. The Pixel 10 Pro launches with 256GB of storage on the cheapest model, a step up from last year, and the same storage and 16GB of RAM inside both the Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL. The specs are nearly identical across the two phones, but the differences are significant enough to consider before you buy. The Pixel 10 Pro XL has a larger display, of course, and that means a larger battery inside as well. It uses a big 5200 mAh cell compared to the 4870 mAh battery in the Pixel 10 Pro. I'll need to test these phones thoroughly before I can tell you if the larger battery makes a big difference. The Pixel 10 Pro XL is also the only Pixel 10 phone that can charge wirelessly up to 25 watt, which is the full potential of today's QI2 wireless standard. The Pixel 10 series is the first phone family with QI2 certification, including the magnets that make PixelSnap features possible, but other two phones charge at 15 watt, not the full 25 watt speed. Otherwise, both of these phones pack the Google Tensor G5 processor inside, which has a new and improved image signal processor that should improve image quality and help you take better pics. Both phones have the same 50 megapixel main camera and two 48 megapixel sensors behind the ultra-wide and 5x lenses, as well as the same 42 megapixel selfie camera up front. The Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL look nearly identical to last year's Pixel 9 Pro and 9 Pro XL, and that's a good thing. The iPhone and Galaxy lines have been stagnant for years, using the same basic design, while Google made a significant improvement to its Pixel design last year. The new Pixel look is more durable than before, and Google reiterates that the Pixel 10 Pro is twice as durable as the Pixel 8 Pro, which used the older camera bar design. The PixelSnap magnets inside haven't added any bulk of the latest phones either, so the devices are just as thin as last year's models. For better and worse, the Pixel 10 Pro looks almost identical to the base model Pixel 10 as well. You would need an expert guide to tell them apart. The Pixel 10 Pro uses a matte finish on the back and glossy sides, while the Pixel 10 flips that script and uses a glossy back with matte side rail. The easiest difference to spot is the temperature sensor on the Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL, which somehow still exists even though it's one of the more useless hardware additions I have seen in recent years. For color choices, I liked the moonstone quite a bit, but it was admittedly drab. The green jade might be my favorite color, but the black and white options are also very appealing, with that nice matte finish making them look more professional. Google doesn't brag enough about its Super HD displays on the Pixel Pro phones, and the Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL models were incredibly bright and colorful in the time I spent testing them. Seriously, Google's Pixel displays are quietly the best screens on any smartphone, even better than Samsung's. They look great in every lighting conditions. Of course, I'll need to spend more quality time with these phones to see if the display really holds up in bright sunlight. Google claims these phones can reach 3300 nits of peak brightness, but I'll have our lab test confirm these claims before I give Google the credit. I'm also curious to see how the PixelSnap feature makes the Pixel 10 Pro into a bedside clock. I use the standby feature on my iPhone 16 Pro Max every night, and I intend to use the Pixel 10 Pro XL as my new alarm clock. I hope it provides a better experience than iOS. As I only spent a couple of hours with the Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL, battery life remains a question mark, but I'm hoping that it will be easier for most folks to keep these phones topped up and charged throughout the day. Having PixelSnap accessories that work with MagSafe charging will be very convenient. The batteries in both the Pixel 10 Pro and 10 Pro XL are bigger than last year's models, even though the phones now have magnets inside the PixelSnap. That's an impressive design achievement. Sadly, the Pixel 10 Pro doesn't take full advantage of the new QI2 wireless charging standard. The Pixel 10 Pro XL can charge up to 25 watt on a wireless QI2 certified charger, while the Pixel 10 Pro can only charge wirelessly up to 15 watt, so it won't charge faster than previous Pixel phones, but it will still have the convenience of magnets. The final say on battery life will come after our lab tests these phones with our proprietary battery rundown test. The recent crop of Android phones with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Elite processor inside have shown remarkable gains in battery life, so I'm hoping that Google has learned some tricks to improve the Pixel 10 Pro's batteries as well.